Hey everyone, I was just out here walking, thought I'd sit down and help address some of the more common questions that I've got with the launch of the most incredible product this past weekend at the Dallas PXP. So first is let me give a little bit of an introduction on what this product is, Everglow, and why it is so important. Everglow is the first product of its kind to actually address in totality that extracellular matrix. Extracellular matrix, what is this? This is complicated science. Actually, it's not too complicated. Extracellular just means outside the cell. Our body isn't a group of cells put together like Lego bricks where there's no area between them. In fact, our body has area between our cells, and that's just what we call that extracellular matrix. Plants, on the other hand, don't have an extracellular matrix. Animals do. It is that extracellular matrix that allows us to move. Because if our cells were fastened right next to each other, if we moved, it would either tear the cells or, the cells would have to stretch. But we have that extracellular matrix. This is much like the sand between a brick path. It allows those bricks to eventually kind of move a little bit and allow it to not rub and break apart. Now, as we age, that extracellular matrix erodes. That extracellular matrix is typically why individuals show wrinkles when they age. It's why joints begin to ache while you age. It's because that area between those cells gets degraded over time, and paths start to show in your brick pathway, divots start to show in your brick pathway, or even the bricks might begin to rub. And that extracellular matrix is critical. Now, even though you may not have heard of the extracellular matrix, most of you have heard of a component that is found in the extracellular matrix, collagen. Collagen is one of the most abundant proteins in the extracellular matrix, and people have been supplementing with collagen to stimulate collagen. And they do that to kind of get at some of the benefits of that extracellular matrix. But this Everglow is the first of its kind to actually give a complete solution to that extracellular matrix. And I'll explain what that solution is. One, we stimulate the components of that extracellular matrix. We stimulate your collagen production. And we use this with a hydrolyzed marine collagen. Why marine? What does hydrolyzed mean? I'll go into that in a bit. Second is we actually stabilize that extracellular matrix. Once we stimulate the extracellular matrix, we want to stabilize it. That allows it to reside longer, more functional in that extracellular space. We want those components to be as fastened as well as possible. And three is we want to limit the degradation. Now, this first one, we stimulate the components of your extracellular matrix, and we do that via hydrolyzed marine collagen. A lot of you may have been wondering, hydrolyzed marine collagen, I thought hydrolyzed had to be a liquid. No, it's not the case. Hydrolyzed just means small. It's digested components of collagen down to those 2 to 4 amino acids. And that's critical because those 2 to 4 amino acids is what allows for optimal absorption. Much bigger than that, you're not going to get much of that absorption. And what are you absorbing in those 2 to 4 amino acids? Collagen is hundreds of thousands of amino acids. Why do you need just those 2 to 4? Well, collagen, believe it or not, is really just like 2 to 4 amino acids in repeat. It's like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. And when you hydrolyze it, you're just getting those basic A, B, C, D. And you absorb those components. Now, in that, there's one amino acid in that A, B, C, D, in that amino acid substrate that is critical. It's called hydroxyproline. It's actually very unique to collagen. And so when we absorb those small amino acid peptides, and there's an abundance of that hydroxyproline, because it's largely just found in our collagen, actually stimulates our own collagen production. All of a sudden, our body says this subunit, this amino acid, which we really can only use for collagen, we have an abundance of it. And so what it does is your body then actually uses that and says, we have a surplus of it, let's put it to good use, and it stimulates your own collagen production. That is why you utilize marine collagen, is it's enriched the most in hydroxyproline. Now, a lot of you might be saying, Josh, the extracellular matrix, it's complicated. You're talking about joints, you're talking about skin. I thought these were different types of collagen. It is true. The area in your skin is a different type of collagen than the area between your joints. However, they're all using that basic ABCD subunit. So when you utilize a marine collagen to stimulate your own collagen production, you're not just doing type 1, you're not just doing type 2, type 3, or type 4. You're actually stimulating all of the collagen throughout your body. Most people are able just to notice it based upon the skin because it's the most evident part. You help to diminish those wrinkles as you're improving the collagen in your face or in your neck area or throughout the rest of your body. In addition to this, though, as you're stimulating that collagen not only in your muscle area, in your muscles or in your joints, you're able to benefit from that. Now, as that collagen, it's made in those small subunits inside our cells, right? We absorb that hydroxyproline. Our body says you have a surplus. It then assembles short little peptides of collagen, ships them out of the cell into that extracellular matrix. Into that extracellular matrix, they're all combined together to make collagen molecules that are even bigger than the cells inside that extracellular matrix. The way in which those are all integrated together is an enzymatic reaction. What we have done is not only given you the ability to utilize and to stimulate that collagen, but we have also helped provide the necessary cofactors to support and integrate that collagen into those larger collagen fibrils or fibers. That is that foundation that allows those collagens to be so impactful in helping to change the appearance and joint health. Now, we continue this through. The reason that you typically have the sun ages you is because ultraviolet light actually stimulates proteases that degrade the extracellular matrix. So in this, we have also been able to utilize and provide compounds, natural ingredients that actually help shield the impact of that ultraviolet light of degrading that extracellular matrix. So this is providing a complete solution, stimulating collagen production, helping it to be integrated into that extracellular matrix network, creating those full collagen fibers and preventing the damage of the ultraviolet light from the sun, of accelerating that aging, giving us a complete solution. Now this is incredible, right? As people have talked about, hey, hydrolyzed collagen, shouldn't it be a liquid? No, think of salt. Salt is an exceptionally tiny molecule, very, very small, 2 atoms, sodium chloride. You can find salt as a powder. Additionally, you can put it in that salt into a liquid and it's still salt. That ability, the size of the molecule, is irrelevant whether it is in a solid form or dissolved into a liquid. Additionally, you can find giant hydrocarbon molecules that are largely only found as liquids, these giant oil molecules. So the size of the molecule doesn't matter if it's a solid or a liquid. Really what you are doing is you are getting that hydrolyzed amino acid subunit, and by applying legitimate science, finding the sources that have the hydroxyproline at critical concentration levels, providing the correct amount of that to stimulate your own collagen production, making sure it's properly integrated into fibrils, and preventing the damage that that ultraviolet light has in degrading that extracellular matrix, you are setting yourself up for long-term success. Now, one of the questions that I get also is, do I have to take this all the time? Well, yeah, sadly, you have to keep taking this. That's the way in which nature works, is we metabolize stuff, we use it. We naturally have our extracellular matrix, even though we're limiting the rate at which it's being degraded, it's still degraded. Where those subunits get used up, metabolized, and so we need to constantly supply them. It's like saying, hey, I got stuffed at Thanksgiving. Even though we say we're never going to have to eat again, we eventually do. We utilize those subunits, and it is up to us to continually to replenish them. So one of the best things we can do to support our extracellular matrix, that area between our cells that is so critical to helping us age well and move, is to utilize this Everglow product. Now, I've equated this imagery before, but largely our body is not cell to cell. There's areas between those cells, that brick path, and it's that foundation under that brick path that largely determines how stable that brick path is. As that sand foundation may erode away and the brick path begins to divot, what happens is a pothole forms, or in the way in which it manifests in our skin is a wrinkle. And it's interesting, as people talk about like an Ozempic face or something along those lines, what has happened is, it's hard to show this with one hand, but as you have that extracellular matrix layer and you have your skin cells on top, you have this fat layer that lies below. And so individuals that had an excessive weight, that fat layer pushed up. And even though that extracellular matrix may have been deleted or degraded, that fat layer pushed up so hard that it actually pushed to where those wrinkles gone away. And now that you've successfully lost weight utilizing GLP-1s, or utilizing potentially even the powerful Slenderized drops at Partner Co., and you find, oh my goodness, I have these wrinkles. What it is that extracellular matrix has been degraded over time, but it hasn't revealed itself until that weight has been lost. And now that you've lost that weight, that depleted extracellular matrix then reveals itself in the form of those wrinkles. So one of the best things you can do for individuals that have lost weight is to supplement with an extracellular matrix support foundational product, such as Everglow. Hey, tomorrow I will be speaking about the other product that we just launched, the Max 2.0. Let's talk electrolytes. Why are they important? How do we get them into our body? And what is the right amount of electrolytes? What are the right types of electrolytes? So tune in. Sorry for the long video. It's a beautiful night. I'm in no hurry to go inside. Thanks, everyone.